Hello everyone, Assalamualaikum and greetings to all. Welcome back from your short semester break, and let's continue with our video lecture slides. And this is video lecture slides week 8. So particularly today we're going to look at how ICT, information communication technology, influences culture and development. So before we move on, let's have a look at the course learning outcome for this particular video lecture slides. So at the end of this video lecture slides, ladies and gentlemen, all of you should be able to demonstrate the understanding on cultural diversity and development, as well as their impacts on communication systematically. And this is course learning outcome 2. So as I said, we are going to look at how ICT influences culture and how ICT influences development. The outline I have actually mentioned just now: culture, development, how are they, both of these, being influenced by ICT. So, ladies and gentlemen, ICT and culture. Have you heard of the term global village? Now, global village is actually something, a concept, I would say, that's made possible by the fact that we have internet access. For example, we can be considered a global citizen simply because we don't have to travel far in order to know the happenings in the US, for example. Or we don't have to travel to, for example, New Zealand in order to see snow. You can easily do that by switching on your computer and then get the access to the internet, and then you can actually feel virtually what snow is all about. So global village in this sense is actually the fact that everybody now becomes we would say nationals, or the nation, the same nation, similar nation. So global village is a term that we use to refer to people who do not have barriers in terms of communication, in terms of sharing information. We are global citizens, and because of that, we can actually get access to many information without even leaving our country, without even leaving our bedroom. Just go online and you can be knowledgeable. That is the concept of global village. And of course, when you talk about global village, there's no boundaries. You don't talk about international boundaries anymore, because you don't have to use your passport in order to learn the culture in Switzerland, for example. You don't need your passport in order to learn the culture of Africa. You don't have to travel to France in order to learn French. You can do that online. So there's no boundaries. And the problem with this global village and the fact that there's no boundaries or whatsoever, we have two challenges, basically two main challenges. The first one: how do you actually maintain your image, your identity, and your language? For example, when you connect with your friend in New Zealand or maybe in Africa, you use English. So where's the identity to say that you are a Malaysian, because you don't use Bahasa Melayu? So how to maintain image, identity, and language? So that's the first main challenge. The second main challenge is actually how to ensure cultural practices remain pure. There's no mixture of anything or everything from this global village. And this is where we get actually two two critical concepts, two new critical concepts. The first one is assimilation, and the second one is adaptation. Now, for example, when you first came to UPNM, I'm sure some of you were not familiar with the rules, were not familiar with the friends, because that's the first time that you met each other. And slowly but surely, you are going to assimilate so that you can fit the culture and the friends in UPenM. And similarly, you are going to adapt to the environment. For example, maybe at home, you used to have your own bedroom without sharing with anybody, but at UPenM, you have to share with at least 2 or 3 other friends. So this assimilation and adaptation, these two critical concepts, they are I would say, the product of global village. The fact that there's no boundaries, everything can be dumped together. So that's assimilation and adaptation that you have to do in your life. So this is how ICT, because as I said earlier, global village is made possible by technology. So that's how ICT actually influences culture or cultural practices. Now let's have a look at how ICT influences development. What about ICT and economic growth? How ICT influences business increase? And what about intellectual growth, spiritual development, physical development? So what are the challenges to ensure the development is balanced? Remember, ladies and gentlemen, we are trying to make sure that we have a sustainable development, and sustainable development is all about balanced development. So if you talk about ICT influencing the economic or the businesses of the day, so of course we have online trading. Actually, you can buy books from overseas, and you make online payment, and then they will send it to you. So that's how ICT influences your purchase. Intellectual growth. If you use your YouTube or your social media to the maximum and in a positive way, I believe that you can benefit a lot from this technology, from the social media that you have. Spiritual development, similar thing. If you learn to recite Al-Quran, for example, online, so that will actually be something positive. Physical development, of course, when you talk about building, we have 2 categories here. Where if you are building a house, for example, so you use ICT in order to do measurement. Or if you're talking about your physical appearance, so how ICT improve that? So you look online, you can do matching of outfit, matching of colors and everything. So that is actually physical appearance development. The questions: what are the challenges to ensure the development is balanced? So this is something that you have to think. Most of you will say that, ICT, yes, ICT has advantages in terms of development. They are very good, or they give a lot of benefits for development. Can you think of anything that ICT has negative influences on development? So we'll talk more about this in our next class. Okay, now, what do you think? Development aspect benefits a lot from ICT, but not cultural aspect. Why and why not? So the first one that we are going to discuss in our next class, what are the negative influence of ICT on development? And this is the second one. Development aspect benefits a lot from ICT, but not the cultural aspect. Why? If you agree with this, why? And if you don't agree, why not? So this is another thing that we're going to talk about, we're going to discuss, and we're going to debate in our next class, inshallah. And let's move on to the impact or the effects of ICT. So of course, if you talk about the positive effect, we have ICT facilitates many aspects of life. For example, now you don't have to wait for your snail mail. You can just email. For example, if you want to get in touch with your friends, your parents, or your family members, brothers, sisters, you can just email. You don't have to wait for that postman to come and say, hey, there's a letter for you. No, you don't have to do that. So ICT facilitates many aspects of life. Those one of the example. However, positive impacts can only be seen if and when societies know how to utilize ICT accordingly. As I said, if you use your social media to spread good things, to share, for example, hadith, for example, or to share good vibes, to share motivational quotes, for example, then the impact is positive. So this is what it means by if and when societies, as the users of ICT, know how to utilize ICT accordingly. Thus, the importance of a nation to become a creator. So this is very, very critical. Rather than just a user of ICT, you have to become a creator. So one example is content creator. Now, I'm not sure whether you have experienced this in school, but my friends who are teaching in schools now, they have created short videos, short clips on TikTok on how to pronounce some words. So that is something that we call content creator, authentic and beneficial. There's no point of you to become a creator, but your content is a waste, or is not useful to netizens or to the people or to society. So when you become a content creator, make sure that the content is positive and beneficial. Other people, when they come across your content, oh, now I know how to pronounce this word, for example. Oh, now I know how to bake a cake, for example. So that's content creator. So if for a nation to prosper in terms of, if you're talking about the impact of its ICT, it is important for the nation to become a creator. You create something. So content creator is one of them, rather than just a user. So very, very critical. Now this is when we talk about content, creating content, so or becoming content creator. But of course, if you use ICT for something else, for example, if let's say you use ICT to help you in your research, and because of that, people you create something that make people's life easy, so using ICT, so that is another story. That is not content creator. That is, you become innovator. You create something for the benefit of society. And how you create it, you use ICT as part of your tools. So yes, so there are many things that we can do in our life utilizing ICT, but make sure that they are used in a positive ways. Okay, in positive ways, or a positive way, if only one. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I guess that's all for video lecture slides week 8. Basically, we look at how ICT influences culture, how ICT influences development, and the impacts of ICT overall. That's all. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. And should you have any questions, if you're not sure of anything, please do not hesitate. If you're shy to ask in our class or in our WhatsApp group, you can email me personally, or you can WhatsApp me personally. That's all. Assalamualaikum and greetings to all once again. See you.